Do you ever wonder how you can use the business insights of your side hustle to turn it into a more profitable business? Today, I'm going to be showing you how to create a Power BI report using a Turo rental car business. Come along. Welcome back to another Power Money Monday. Welcome back to another Power Money Monday. So here's the deal. Today in Power Money Monday, we are going to be creating a Power BI report using a Turo rental car business. But here's the deal, man. We are not going to be using fictitious data as I normally use when I'm building out Power BI reports using Power Money Monday. It's going to be a little bit different because I've got a specific interest. I've got a personal interest in Turo myself. So I've been doing a little research. Therefore, I said, hey, I may as well create a Power BI report for my Turo friends as well as for my Power BI class. So I created this video specifically just for you. So here's the deal. We're going to jump right into this thing. As you can see, as we are here, this view is a slightly different view than the view that we would normally start out when we're creating a Power BI report. And basically what we're doing is we're starting with the end in mind. What does that mean, T? That simply means this is the final Power BI report that I'm using, that I built out for the Turo business. This is the actual Power BI report that I created for the Turo business. Now, we are going to jump in and we're going to learn how to build this report out just as I've done before, step by step, inch by inch, creating the Power BI report. However, what I wanted to do was I wanted to create this report and then I wanted to show you what it actually is going to look like so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the actual Power BI report. Typically, when I create the Power BI reports for you, I do it in Power BI Desktop. But as I said before, in many of the classes, and some of you guys you may already be at that level. But if not, this is where we want to be when we publish to Power BI service. Right? We put it out there on the web. So basically, this report is actually a report that's out there on the web. This is a report that you will be sharing to individuals if you want to, or if you're on a project and you need to share the report or give someone permission to view the report. This is the actual Power BI report that they would be taking a look at. It wouldn't be the report that is on your Power BI desktop. Now, with that said, I don't want to get too deep into the admin piece of Power BI service. Again, what you're learning here is how to create a Power BI report, and specifically, we are learning how to create a Power BI report for the Turo rental car business using Power BI. So basically, what we have here, these are the final visuals that actually come up with. And what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be adding onto this report as I see fit, as I see what, these are some visualizations that we may need. These are some different metrics that we may want to see, some KPIs, key performance indicators that we want to see when we're looking at it. The reason why I created this particular report is because I am very serious about getting into the Turo business, looking at getting into the Turo business here in the next few days, week maybe or so. But I wanted to see, what kind of cars are what kind of cars are available out there on Turo. So basically, I'm in the DFW area, so I wanted to see what kind of cars that were out there in the DFW area. But I'm also going to be adding a report for Atlanta, because I know that there's a big Turo base in Atlanta, and I'm going to look at a couple of other locations, probably 3 other locations. I want to have 5 locations that I'm looking at total. So you'll probably see this report again here in the next couple of weeks, few weeks or so, as I add on to this particular report. But what does a Power BI report do? That's the first question. So data visualization. We are seeing here all of the different visualizations that are on this particular report. We brought the Turo logo in. We've got not a drop down. We've got a list slicer that we use. Here we're showing 2 airports in Dallas, the DFW airport and the Love Field airport. We've got a drop down slicer that we use for the years. So we're going to be looking at years 2013 to 2025. But here's the deal. That's not saying that Turo was in business in 2013. I'm not sure if it was or if it wasn't. I think there was another company called Relay Rides, from what I understand, and then I think Turo either bought it out or it merged or whatever the case may be. But I'm not sure if Turo was in business in 2013. But what this is showing here is the year of the car. Again, I'm trying to find out, I want to buy a car. I want to buy a car and I want to place it on Turo. So I want to know what types of cars have been the best bang for the buck when it comes to being placed on Turo. So these are the years of the cars here in this drop-down slicer. Then in this tree map visual, these are all the different cars that are on Turo as of today, as far as the information I have. And you'll see where I pull this information from as well. But bottom line is this information, this data here are the cars that are on Turo. And then, so these are the makes and models, and then these are the years of the makes and models. The reason why that is important is because, yeah, let's just say we have a BMW 3 Series. The BMW 3 Series may be a top renter on Turo, but which year is the top renter? I don't want to go out and get the 2014. Say for instance, we've got 10 BMW 3 Series that are out there, but only one of them is a 2014, 7 of them are 2022, and 2 of them are 2018. Which one is renting best? So I want to be able to evaluate which one of those makes and which one of those make and models and which particular year is renting best. And when I say renting best, that could be based on demand, that could be based on daily average price, that could be based on average monthly revenue, that could be based on average annual revenue. So we're going to be looking at some of those things, and we're going to be making those decisions. Your decisions may not be based on my decisions. My decisions may be based on annual revenue. You may need to make a daily rent, and you're trying to make money day to day. I may be trying to make money month to month. So with that said, we want to be able to evaluate that information. So now we come over and we see that we have a model count, which basically is how many cars do we have in the DFW area? How many cars are we evaluating here? I can't be totally sure that it's only 400 cars in the DFW area, but it's at minimum 400 based on my information. And therefore, we're going to be making those predictions. We're going to be making the decisions on how I'm going to be making a decision on the type of car I buy based on these 400 models. So with that said, these 400 cars. Now with these 400 cars, it's not 400 different car types, 400 different model types. It's 400 different cars total. It could be 400 BMWs. It could be 400 Lamborghinis. It could be 400 Ford Priuses or Toyota Priuses or whoever makes Prius, Ford Escape, or whoever makes whatever the case may be. It may be 400 of that in specific car, or it may be 400 combined of all different types. What is the average monthly revenue? The average monthly revenue without any airport selected, without any year selected, we're saying is $859.10. The average daily price is $48.66. The number of trips, this is the total number of trips, which is 16,000, consistent of all 400 cars. Days on Turo, a total of 139,000. Now, when we start selecting, when we select from, let's just say DFW, now we're going to see how that number is affected just by cars on at DFW. And when we select a year, and let's say we select 2025, now we see that we've got a smaller car count, model count. We see that the number of cars that actually make up this model count is actually 7 different cars. And up in the top left corner, we've got the Chevrolet Equinox. Now we have 2 Chevrolet Equinox. They are averaging $880.50 per month at an average daily rate of $53. The number of trips between the two is 25, and the days on Turo combined is 233. If we come down, we can look at the same for the Chevrolet Malibu, which is $681.50, and it's 2 of those. We have the Chevrolet Trax. It's 2 of those, and the average monthly revenue for the Trax is $1,250. So that, to me, that's telling me, oh, you need to get a Chevrolet Trax. This is only my opinion. I'm not telling you to go out there and get on Turo. And if you're on Turo, I'm not telling you to go buy a Chevrolet Trax. What I'm saying is, at the DFW airport, the Trax is producing $1,250 per month. With the days on Turo, 403, and the number of trips has been 30. Let's see here, the Honda CR-V. Right now, there's only 1. The average revenue, there's 0. Days on Turo is 42, and the number of trips is 0. So the CR-V has not rented yet. I don't know when it got on Turo, but it says the days on Turo is 42. So it's 42 from the time this report was created. The Nissan Sentra, there are 4 out there. Average monthly revenue is $698. Average daily price is $46.75. The number of trips is 26, and the days on Turo is 123. Now we've got the Volkswagen Taos, and there are 2 of those. The average revenue is $1,120. The average daily price is $50.50. The number of trips is 19. The days on Turo is 128. So what this telling me is that I can evaluate the car that I can analyze the car that I want to buy, purchase, to put on Turo by a couple of different things in my mind right now. One is the average monthly revenue. How much is it making per month? Well, a car can have an average monthly revenue, but it may only have 1 trip. So that average, if it was $1,000 with 1 trip, the average is going to be $1,000. Now I want to be able to compare what's the number of trips it has to the average monthly revenue. So basically, now what I want to do later on, I'm not going to do it in this video or on this particular report because it just came to my mind, but I may say, hey, I want to know the cars with 10 trips and have an average monthly revenue of $1,000. I'm gonna put that into the next report. Not into this report, but I'm gonna put that into the next report. The number of the cars that have 10 trips and the cars that have an average revenue of $1,000. That's kind of where I would say, hey, I want to base the type of car that I want to put on Turo, because I want to make $1,000 a month on a car, but I need that car to have at least 10 trips. Really, I want that car to have at least 10 trips. I don't want to be basing it on 1 trip a month. I want that thing moving. Now, somebody else may say, well, if you got 1 car and it's had 1 trip, and it made $1,000, that's still giving you the same $1,000. That's true, but in my mind, what I'm saying is I want that car to be in demand as well. So, the next question is, what is the demand? The demand is the demand is that it's got it's being demanded. Well, I'm evaluating demand on how many trips is out there. So with that said, that's just where I am on how I'm looking to evaluate. Now, I could also come back and I can look at love field. Love field could be totally different. We're gonna read it the same way, but love field could be totally different. Here in the pie chart, we've got the top 5 models by trips. So again, I've already didn't realize when I created the pie already, it says, well, how many trips? the pie by trips. So we see here, we've got the Chevrolet, we got the Volkswagen Jetta, Volkswagen Taos. Let's see. I think that's a Nissan. I would need to increase that size. I don't want to change that up right now. And Kia Carnival. So now we can see which cars are demanded the most by this particular pie chart. So I actually removed the interaction between the pie chart and the tree map because I wanted the pie chart to remain the same. But I do know that the most requested car here is going to be the Chevrolet. So I'm going to come over and for the most trips, and I want to see. I'm getting number of trips 122, model count. There's 6 of them, and the average monthly revenue is $1,005, and the average daily price is $48.17. I've got the total number of trips here. So I want to come back and I want to get the average number of trips for each. So that I want to get the average number of trips so that we can see, not the total, but how often this thing demanded, because this could be one car. It could be one car at 121 trips. Other cars, 4 cars could be at 0, and then 1 car could be at 1 trip. But I think I would get somewhat of a better understanding of what's going on if I knew what the average number of trips are. But again, I'm just throwing that number 10 out there. That's not a number that you have to use if you're in the Turo business, or if you're looking to get in the Turo business and you're trying to use the average number, and you're trying to use the analyzation of or analysis of how to use the Power BI report. That's totally up to you. I don't want to do that, but I want to do that. I don't want you to be basing how you build your business on how I build my business. But what I want you to do, what I do want you to know, is that you can use the data from your Turo business in order to understand and to create a Power BI report and give you that visualization so that you will be able to go out there and build your Power BI business. Anyway, this is the end in this. When we say we want to start with the end in mind, this is the end. It's in mind. Now we're going to go over it and we're going to start building out our Power BI report. So we are over here getting started on creating the Power BI report. As we see here in the data view, we only have one table that we're working with. We just brought in one table, given that, we brought all the data in at one time. Coming over to the report view, just checking the headers, making sure that we don't have any headers that we need to make first row as headers. And actually, with this just being one table, if there was one column that needed to be replaced as first row as headers in the Power Query view, all of the headers would have needed to be replaced as first row as header in the Power Query view. We didn't have that issue, so we're just going to move right on over here as we are in the report view. And here in the report view, what I like to do is recreate the table to get started, or to bring in a table to get started, or to create a table to get started, to show at least show a visualization, at least show one visualization. And what I am doing here is just using the data view the data view as a model to recreate or to create a table. And what I mean by that is I am just selecting the same headers from the data set and bringing that data into those columns into my table, just as the headers are in the data view. What does that really mean? That means that I want the columns to be identical as the columns are in the data view. Doesn't have to be that way. I'm just doing it that way. It's super easy for me to do it that way, given that I only have one table to be working with. And as you can tell, just because you have one table does not mean that you don't have a lot of data. Does not mean you're not able to create a lot of visualizations. In previous reports, I may have had 3, 4, 5 tables, even 10 or 15 tables to work with. But as you saw, working with the end in mind, looking at, what the final product actually looks like, we had a significant amount of data visualizations that we were using or that we are using in this report. I don't like, as you can see at the bottom of this visualization, where there's a scroll bar scrolling horizontally, and then to the right, there's a scroll bar that's scrolling vertically. I don't like for visualizations to scroll horizontally. So one way to reduce or to prevent the scroll bar from scrolling horizontally is changing the column width. We can change the column width so that each column has is a little bit narrower. Another way to reduce the visualization, the scrolling of horizontal from left to right, is just as you see. I just took out some of the columns. We don't need all the columns. Really, I could have put in one column, one header in, or one column in this visualization, 2 or 3 columns in this visualization. But as I said, it's just a matter of creating a visual to get started with. If you look over here in the year column in this table, you can see that the year column is actually summing up. So it's showing like 4,000 or 40,000, and then it's totaling up to be 400,000. Of course, we have years. Year is not meant to be summed. It's not an integer or a whole number or a decimal or a dollar value. So eventually what we're going to do is we'll go over into the data view, and we'll change the data type, because currently it has to be showing either as a integer, a whole number, a decimal. It has to be, well, it's not a decimal, so either an integer or a whole number. So we'll change that to text so that we'll see the actual year as a year, like 2013, 2014, 2015, rather than it summing up. What we have here is we're bringing in a slicer. This one is going to be a drop-down slicer so that we can select different makes and models. So we brought in a drop-down slicer, and in the drop-down slicer, we brought in the make and model. So now we can see all of the different makes and all of the different makes and models. And what is a make and what is a model? A make is the company that makes the car. For instance, Toyota, Hyundai, Ford, Chrysler, GM, BMW, those are the makes. And then the models would be a 325, a 323, a Escape, a Jetta, a Q5, a Taos. Those are the models. We'll also be bringing in the years, so we'll see the year, make, and model. And a lot of times you'll hear in that order, year, make, and model, which would be 2014 Volkswagen Jetta, 2021 Volkswagen Taos. So here we see now that what I'm just trying to see is if the tables, if the visualizations are interacting with one another. We're going to bring in another visual, another slicer, and in this slicer, we're going to bring in the calendar, the date slicer, the date slider here. So basically now we're looking for the year, make, and model. We're going to change it from a between date to a drop down date. So now we can select the year of the make and model. That year is going to be 2023, 2024. The reason why we only have 2 years is because we've got the make and model already selected for the Volkswagen over to the left, and it only has the 2023 year and the 2024 year. But if we erase the make and model, we'll see that all of the years will be selected for make and model. So we erase it, now we see all, and now we see all of the years that are going to be in this report. And when we erased it, we also saw down at the bottom the visualization interacted, and it changed from just the make and model that was selected to now it's showing all makes and models and all years. If we select one of the year categories, it'll show us all of the make and models of that particular year. And then if we select a make and model, it would show us the make and model, and it would show us only that make and model of that specific year. Bringing in a card visual, now we want to count the number of make and model. So what does that mean? That means that we want to show how many of a specific make and model we have. So we have here Volkswagen Passat. How many Passats do we have? We have one, and that's in all years. If we select Volkswagen Jetta, we have 11 in all years. Volkswagen Taos, we have 19 in all years. We have the Mercedes GL class, we have one for all years. The Kia Sportage, we have one for all years. The Lexus IS, we have one for all years. The Toyota Tundra, we have one for all years. If we select the year, we only have 2023 model of the Toyota Tundra. We erase, we go to 2016. Now we want to see what cars are available in 2016. We got 4 in 2014, 12 in 2015. In 2016, we have 1. 2018, we have 8. 2020, we have 15. But that got to remember, this is all make and models here. This is not one specific make and model. 2025, we have 200. We have 200 cars in 2025. And the rest of the years will be determined by 2025. Now we're going to bring in a clustered column chart. Again, it's about real estate, just trying to see how this thing looks, making sure that the report is aesthetically pleasing. We already know how this thing is going to end because we saw the end report. But, this is what we had to do in order to get to that end report. Now, what I'm doing here, as I see here, the year is a data type is a whole number. We see that it's summing. So we want to change that to a text because we don't want that year to be adding up. So we're going to go over and we're going to change that year from a whole number because the year is not a whole number. We're going to change it to text, and when we change it to text, it's not going to sum, and that is what we want. Because who knows what 400,027 year in the year category really means? It means nothing to us. So we've changed it to date, and when we make a change in Power BI, it presents itself to be a problem. When we make a change in the data set, it presents itself to be a problem because you're not able to go back and change it back to what it was. We don't want it to be a date. We want it to be a text. And as you can see, the dates is all wrong. It's 1905. The dates are all wrong. And the thing is, we don't even know what the date is. It's a year. We don't even know what month or day of the week. And actually it's the year of the car, so we wouldn't even have a date. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in, we're gonna bring that table back in as it was. Then we're gonna delete the original table. Then we're gonna rename the new table to what the original table was so that we don't have to go back in and make any changes to the visualizations. And it's really not that big of a deal because we only have one table anyway, so it's not a table that needs to be rebuilt for data modeling. But we see here we got year, which goes from 2013, I think, to 2025. It's set as a whole number as a data type. We don't want it as a whole number. We want it as a text. We want it as a text. We're just gonna go over the data type, and we're gonna, well, under format, we're gonna select general, and data type, we're gonna select text. And now that bad boy is going to read as a text as opposed to a whole number. So we don't have to worry about that thing being summed up. And then we're gonna come back in, we deleted the old year, and then we brought the new year back into the table. So now we are back where we want to be. We've got the table with the information in it as we need it, and it does not have a horizontal slider. It is sliding vertically or scrolling vertically. We've got the make and model drop down slicer. We've got the year drop down slicer. We have the clustered column that we have not completed yet, and we have the card that is showing the count of the make and model that we are working with. Now, again, I am not encouraging you to go out and run your Turo business based on this particular report. If you want to have access to this particular report, I would say leave me a comment here, but leaving a comment in here is for something else. And that's not how I want you to do it. So if you're interested in this data set or having access to this Power BI report, what I want you to do is follow the link. Follow the link in this video. Follow the link in this video. It'll probably say Learn Power BI. But follow the link in this video, and I will see that you have access to this Power BI report. But again, you don't have to use this. You don't have to use this Power BI report to manage your business. This is something that I'm using. I am literally using this. I haven't started my Turo business yet, but I am going to get into the Turo business. And because I understand data, because I can create a Power BI report, and because I have the data information for Turo, I am using this in order to build my Power BI, in order to build my Turo business. You do not have to use this, trust, and I'm not encouraging you to use it. But if you would like access to this report and to the data that's within this Power BI report, just hit my link. It's not a cost to you to do so. It's no cost. I'm not charging you for it. And hopefully you may have some ideas or some things that you may want to see in this Power BI report, and I will see if it is feasible or accessible, and I'll try to add that as well. If not, I'll let you know. But for the most part, all Turo hosts, I believe, have access to the data, but I don't, and I haven't found any where you have access to a Power BI report such as this. And this will be the same. If I were to create a Power BI report for Turo itself, for the Turo company, it would be very similar to this. So, this is a very professional report that we're creating. And if you want to learn how to create this report or create a report such as this, whether it be for Turo or whether it be for any other company that you are affiliated with or have some interest to, you can also follow the link to this report, and you will have access to signing up for or registering for our next webinar in order to learn Power BI. But again, all you have to do is follow the link below and either sign up to or register to sign up to receive information or register for the next Power BI webinar. Anyway, we're keeping on moving on, and as we see here, we are basically just seeing how and making sure that the visualizations are interacting with one another appropriately. So here we have the Kia Sorento, and it's showing that we have a 2014, that we have Kia Sorentos. We have 3 of them. We have 2 according to the column chart in that are 2014s, and we have 1 that is a 2015. Then down here in the table is showing us again in the table we have the 2014 that have average monthly revenue, and the Kia Sorento 2015s which have the average revenue. And because we have 2014, it looks like that average revenue is not giving us average, it's giving us the sum of both of those revenues. So we've got to go in and make sure that we are providing the average revenue for that, and not summing both of those cars together for 2014. But you're getting the picture. Going in and changing the average revenue is a matter of creating a calculation, which is a DAX measure. But we don't necessarily create measures here on Power Money Mondays. We create Power BI reports. So I pretty much already have the measures already created. So here again, we are seeing the Sorento. The 2014 Sorento has an annual revenue, and we're seeing it has the number of trips, the number of days on Turo. And if we go back to all it shows us both years, the 2014 and the 2015, which gives us 3, and we can see the 2014 again is in the table, is showing us the summation of the average monthly revenue, as opposed to the average being both. But we'll get that changed. We'll make that adjustment. But at least we see that the visualizations are interacting with one another. Now we're just creating the real estate, making sure that, well, not making sure, but just seeing how the real estate is being set, how we can bring in new visualizations such as the line chart here, and we want to see what data is going to work best in the line chart. We're going to place the year in the visualization in the x-axis, and the average monthly revenue in the y-axis. So we've got the cluster column chart here showing count of make and model by year, and we've got the line chart showing average monthly revenue by year. It is a very similar, I guess, a structure for both, but not totally. What we want to do is we want to reverse the order of the years so that it goes from 2013 to 2025 as opposed from 2025 to 2013. So that's just a matter of just changing the ascending and descending order of the year. But as we look over at the cluster column chart, we've got count of make and model by year. So we see that 2024 we had a total of somewhere around 40 make and models, and in 2025 we're somewhere in between 30 and 40. But again, you got to remember, we are not totally out of 2025 yet, so we have time to have more models brought in, or more hosts to use that model. And we've got the average monthly revenue by year, and we see that the average monthly revenue is slowly increasing over time. Now, given I've got a line chart and I have a column chart here, what I want to do is I want to save some real estate and probably use the combination chart, which would be a combination of a cluster column and a line chart, and have that information on both. So here we have a double line chart where we are looking at average monthly revenue. Yeah, that was the wrong chart. We didn't want a double line chart. We want a clustered column chart and a line chart all on the same visualization. So we are using the count of make and model on the columns, and we'll do revenue, average monthly revenue on the line. So we can kind of see how they are relating to one another over time, where the count of cars, count of make and models is increasing along with the sum of average revenue. I just want to get these charts somewhere close together so that I can actually get an idea of how they correlate with one another. So I've got the clustered line, the clustered column in the top left and the line chart in the top right, and then I'm bringing over the combination chart just to get an idea, to make sure that I'm seeing this the way that it is created on the single clustered column and on the single line chart. And if you look over to the left on the combination chart, the combination of the clustered line and the clustered line clustered column, or the line clustered column, the monthly average revenue, sum of monthly, that's a sum of average revenue by year. So the sum of average monthly revenue is actually going, let's see, sum of average monthly revenue is to the right, and the count of the average sum, let's see, count of make and model is going to be to the left, and sum of monthly revenue is going to be to the right. But it appears that that sum of average monthly revenue is, I was about to say that it was aggregating as a summation, but we would actually see what that number is when we start selecting year and make and model, but that would be the total of both. I'm going to open up my Power BI report. I don't want to bring it here. I'm going to open up my Power BI report, and I want to make sure that it is actually showing what I am indicating here in the video. And we have, so it'll be average. If we, it's just a matter of placing in the average. It's a matter of placing in the average calculation. I don't have an average calculation in there as of yet, but that is what we would need to do. And we will get to that because I'm looking at the actual Power BI report, the final report, and it is showing that information, the correct data. Let's see here. So, we're just going to take out the title for column, take out that extra information, the sum of, we're going to take that out on the line. So now we've got make and model, and that should be average monthly revenue. Here we've got count of make and model. We are going to just kind of format that card a little bit, get a little spacing together. We do know that we're only looking at one airport at this time. Let's see, count of make and model. We're gonna see here, count of make and model, count of make and model, and just trying to get the count of make and model here. And this is actually going to be called distinct count of make and model. And what distinct count means is, as you see, we have 200 cars being hosted, 200 total cars being hosted. But some of those cars are, we may have 3 or 4 BMW 3 Series, we may have 4 or 5 Toyota Tundras, we may have 2 or 3 Volkswagen Taos. Well, the distinct count of the make and model is how many distinct counts, and I don't want to use that same definition, but how many different models do we have? Not how many total cars are being hosted, but how many cars are being hosted without having multiples? How many cars? Well, how many cars are being hosted in that if it's a multiple, is only going to be counted one time. For instance, if there are 12 Toyota Tundras, there's distinctly one car, one host, one car being hosted, and that's the Toyota Tundra. If there's 45 Nissan Sentras, that's just one. The distinct count is Nissan Sentra, and that's what the distinct count is. It's not the total count, it's the distinct count of how many of that specific car or specific host that's hosting that car being hosted by, how many specific cars are being hosted, as opposed to how many total cars are being hosted. Yeah, I think that's a better term. How many specific cars are being hosted, specific make and models are being hosted, as opposed to the total count of make and models that are being hosted. So just again comparing the clustered column to the clustered column and the line to the combination clustered column and line. And basically what I want to see here is I want to see that the shape of the column chart, when I select certain make and models, the shape of the column chart has the same shape of the column in the combo chart, and the shape of the line chart has the same shape as the line in the combo chart. Reason why I'm doing this is I want to confirm that I'm using the same data in the column, the line, and the combo column line. Because once I delete the column chart and delete the line chart, I don't want to be any question as to if I believe that I have the right information as I had intended initially. So this is just check measures that I'm using here. Year 2021, here is count and make and model. Here we're showing 21, 22, 24. So we don't have any 2023 of that make and model. We've got the Buick Encore GX. We only have a 2025 version in the column. In the column combo line, it only had a 2025 version. Here we have the Cadillac XTS. It's one distinct count. There are 2 counts total, and that means that 2021, there's one in 2021, there was one in 2022, and it probably, let's see, there's one in 2021 and there's one in 2022, the count of make and model. Let's see here. Now we're just trying to orient the line chart to be the same as the same orientation as the line in the clustered column line combo. So it's a matter of which way we want that line chart, that line to be, to direct or orient. I guess orient, that's why they call it orientation. So we're going to erase all of the data. We're going to start over. We see here that the line is not oriented the same way. Dun, 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 dun. So let's see what we're going to do here. It's connected to year, 2014, 2013, 2014, 17. That line chart is not oriented as we would like, but it appears that the combo chart has the proper orientation for the line. Okay, so column chart 2013, 2014, going into 225. We reversed it. Don't want do we want the reverse? We could want the reverse. 2013 to 2037. So basically what we're doing here is we're making sure that our year, our years are ordered by year. So we're sorting the year by column one, we're sorting the column year so that the year will sort correctly from descending to ascending or ascending to descending, whichever one we choose. But we're sorting the year by the year number. Sort year by year number. And now we see that that is working correctly for the column combo. If we just bring the column in, again, we want to check, double check, and recheck before we move too far in to starting the format and finishing the project, because the one thing we don't want to do is show bad data. You show bad data, everybody's going to laugh at you, and if it's for a job, they're going to talk about you, they're going to fire you. So we want to make sure that we are sorting correctly. 2013, 2025. And we're going to remove that one. We're going to bring in a new line. And need to bring in the year on the x-axis and the average monthly revenue on the y-axis. Again, we are checking, rechecking, and then verifying. Now we see that this one, 2013, 16, 18, 17. Bring in that column chart again. What's actually the clustered column line chart. Gonna bring that again. And now we're going to bring in our year on the x-axis and average monthly revenue on the y-axis, and those columns should look, the column in the combo chart should look the same as the column in the single column, the single chart, and the column in the y in the line should look the same as the column, the same as the line chart, the single line chart. What made the difference here is that we created a year order table so that we could sort by year, which is what we did. And now we are seeing that we are getting the correct configuration of the column, the combo column line chart as with the column and the line chart. The reason why it looks a little bit different is because it's been squished down a little bit. When I say squished, it's been compressed a little bit so that the columns are not as tall and the line does not go as high. It's as wide, but not as high. But if we put them side by side, we would see, or if we had room to put them side by side and make them the same height and width, you would see that they're the same. So now we're going to keep it because we know that it works for us. It goes from 2013 to 2025. Now we're going to select make and model from our drop down or from our list slicer to see, you know, what that really looks like. And now we're getting counts of a distinct count of one, a count of one. We look at the Hyundai accent. At the bottom table, we see that we only see information about the Hyundai accent. So the visualizations that are on the page appear to be interacting correctly. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 visualizations. The list slices a visualization, actually 6 visualizations because we got the year. So the make and model drop down list is a visualization. The year is going to be a visualization. The column line chart is a visualization. The count is a visualization. The distinct count is a visualization, and the table at the bottom is a visualization. If we chose, we could select multiple make and models from the drop down list, and we would be able to see each one of those. But that's not what we're doing here, but that option is available. And it appears, again, as I said, that the visualizations are working, are interacting with one another as planned. So now it's a matter of trying to figure out, we're trying to create some real estate. But let's bring in the Turo logo, because you know I like having the logos on my projects. If you create a project, I do believe you should have the logo of the company that you're building the report for, unless they ask you not to. And the reason why they could ask you not to is simply a real estate deal. When I say real estate, I mean not having enough space or needing that space to provide another visualization on the report. Okay, so we've got our logo here that we've added again. I do think it's very important to add your logo in. Some companies will ask you not to place logo because they want to place something else there, but you know, or they may want to use that space for something else. But for the most part, if they don't, I would say add your logo. Now, what we are doing here is we are now building out the real estate, making this site, as I like to say, more aesthetically pleasing. We currently have several visualizations. You know, I like to have no more than like 6 to 8 visualizations, but of course, every time I say 6 to 8 visualizations, we always end up with maybe 10 to 12 visualizations. But that's okay as long as it is aesthetically pleasing report. We want our report to have a very similar functionality look as a website. As you saw in our final product, once we build out the report, once we build out the Power BI report, then we publish the report out to what will be considered service. It's app.powerbi.com. At the end of the day, it looks like a website, and we want to create our Power BI report to look as similar to a website as possible, and for the functionality to be as close to a website as possible. Just taking out that horizontal horizontal scroll as we had out of that table, because you know I don't like the horizontal scroll. I like the vertical scroll because it gives us a more natural feel, but I don't like the horizontal scroll. Now, as we are continuing to build through here and build out the report. Now what we're trying to do is see what other visualizations we could add so that we don't have a lot of empty white space. But at the same time, we don't just want to have visualizations to say we have visualizations. We want visualizations that provide provide some sense of use, something that is going to be important to the end user, the person that's going to be utilizing the report. What I also want to say is this: we are building out this Power BI report here, but I don't want you to feel as if you are not in the Turo rental game, that this report is not good for you. This report does, well, let me say it a different way. By being able to create a report such as this, you can take this skill set to any other industry. What people don't realize is we talk a lot about artificial intelligence and ChatGPT and Canva, using AI and you know, forgot the visualization that ChatGPT used. Let me see if I have it here on my computer. I don't think I do. I think if I pull it up, I think I'll mess up our video here. But there are a bunch of different artificial intelligence visualizations. There are a lot of different artificial intelligence skills that people are promoting, and I think that they all work. I think that they're all good. But here, using business intelligence, because this is what this is. Power BI is Power Business Intelligence. Now, something that I didn't say before, but Power BI is a Microsoft product. I don't work for Microsoft. I don't think that I'm on any projects that are Microsoft projects. Could be, don't know. I don't think I'll own any Microsoft stock. Could, but I'm not sure. I don't remember. But this is not a Microsoft presentation. This is simply a presentation that I'm creating in order to teach you Power BI. But at the end of the day, what I want you to understand is this. Everyone is talking, you know, I can say everyone, but artificial intelligence, AI, is huge right now when it comes to pretty much any and everything. But when it comes to business intelligence, or when it comes to business, what are we going to use that artificial intelligence for? We're going to use that artificial intelligence for business intelligence. Here, what we're doing is we're building out a Power BI report, but with the Power BI report, we're using data from the company. We're using actual data from the company. And even in the projects that I've created before that have artificial data, or not artificial, but simulated data of those companies, you could almost think that those are data sets for those companies. That's not artificial data that I created. Those are just simulated data sets. Where I'm going with that is, when we really take AI to the next level, or for those in business that are ready to take AI to the next level, you can integrate AI and BI and really have something explosive. You can really be able to make projections of outcomes of different scenarios, i.e. projections of profit, projections of revenue, projections of widgets created, projections of downsize, or not necessarily downsize, but projections of what's it called when you got fluctuations in a company's portfolio, or with different revenue, or spikes in revenue, or dips in revenue. I mean, you can use artificial intelligence to really do some superior projections when it comes to building out forecasts for business reports. That's what I think AI, that's what I think those in business, when it really comes to using AI, it's not about just going to ChatGPT and asking a question, or even asking it to write a high-end calculation or high-end formula, something like that. Being able to use Power BI to really, being able to use AI to integrate into BI, or integrate into Power BI to really make some true and 99.99% assumptions is going to be off the chart. Those that are using Power BI now, those that are learning Power BI now as a skill set, you are going to be so much more valuable within the next 5 to 10 years that it's going to be off the chain. Very much so imagining that you are starting today and not starting 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or even 5 years from now, when it really becomes a buzz. Yes, it is a buzz somewhat right now to use artificial intelligence, and there is some artificial intelligence that's being used right now when it comes to Power BI, integrating into Power BI, but it's nowhere close to where it's going to be. This is a skill set that is going to take you to the next level. This is a skill set that's going to take you to the next level. So I'll get off my soapbox there. So here we are testing out the visualizations and making sure the visualizations interacting with one another, getting the real estate down, making sure that the cards are the same height and width, and making sure we have the cards that we're looking for, the tables are interacting with the other visualizations, formatting the different pages. We see here we've got the drop down slice of the make and model, which is the Tesla Model 3, but at the same time we're trying to see if that visualization of the drop down slice of the Tesla model, the drop down slice of the make and model, which is showing the Tesla Model 3, is interacting with the column chart, is interacting with the bar chart. Do we need to have multiple cards? What are we going to do with multiple cards? You know, do we need the distinct count of the make and model? Do we need the count of the make and model? Is that something that we want to use in order to determine certain analysis? The total average revenue. So now we're trying to see, you know, hey, we've got an idea of how we want to design our car and design our report, but now we need to really understand what we really want to bring in as part of the design. Having the make and model, having a year, those are definites. The make and the model is a definite. Everything else is just a matter of, are they good visuals for what we are trying to accomplish? Are they good visuals to show based on what we're trying to accomplish? We've brought in addition to the make and model drop down slicer, the year drop down slicer, we've got the card with the count of distinct make and model, count of make and models, the actual total count of make and models, the average monthly revenue. We've got our combo chart, which is showing our count of make and model by average monthly revenue and average monthly revenue on the line. Then we've got a bar chart showing count of make and model by make and model. The count of make and model by make and model being filtered by make and model, we may keep that, and that's not necessarily a bar chart, that is going to be a funnel. So that makes more sense using it as a funnel. Let's see, got all kind of stuff on there. Okay, there we go. Now let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. In my mind, we're getting pretty close as we build out this report. Let's see. We know what we want to get to with the end in mind, but this is how we actually started out trying to get there. We see if we select Cadillac XTS, we've got two in our table. We've got an average monthly revenue of $1,080, $1.08, so that'd be $1,008. It's two of them with a distinct count. If we go to all make and models, all years, the average count is going, average monthly revenue is going to be $900. The distinct count of vehicles that that are being hosted is 72, and the total count of vehicles is 200. We have our top 1, 2, 3 count of make and model by make and model 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like we have the top 10 make and models by make and model. And when I say by make and model, we're filtering. We want to create. What I'm looking at is the funnel here, and basically we want to get the top 10 make and models, and then we're going to filter it by make and model so we can see who has the most out there. And as we can see, when we look at all make and models by all years, the Tesla Model 3 has the most cars The Volkswagen Taos is next in line, and then the Toyota RAV4 is next up. If we go down to the make and model slicer, we select Cadillac, and we've got the Cadillac STS. We got a distinct count of 1, a count of 2, average monthly value of 1.08 thousand, which is 1,080. It's 1,080, 1,008. I think it's $1,008. And the average daily price is $54. So now what we're doing here is we're just taking out the slicer header, which would be at the bottom, and we're going to take that out, and we're giving it a title of model count. And we, of course, now are going to format the other cards. Average monthly revenue, we're going to give that a title of average monthly rev, and we're going to take out the slicer header, and we will do the same for the average daily price. We'll give it a title of average daily price, and we'll remove the slicer header, average daily price on the slicer header. But we want to format this card so it would be the same height as the model count. I know it's not going to be the same width because we've got more characters in this visualization. We've got the dollar, the 1, the decimal, the 0, the 8, and the K. Whereas in the model count, probably in the model count, the most we're going to have in a model count is probably going to be 3 characters. It could be, you know, up to probably 999 cars. I doubt if it even gets that high, but you know, it could get up to three characters. So it's not going to be as wide. So I don't want to format the model count and the average monthly revenue to be the same size as each other. Coming back, we've got the average daily price. Looks like that might have been high, so we're going to bring these guys down to be the same height as the average daily price, like that. It's kind of off a little bit on that average daily price for some reason. Okay, for some reason, average daily price. I want to say it could be that the slicer header may still be in. We probably need to format that to where it will be the same height. That box that it's in, the card that it's in, is at minimum the same height, because I can tell it's not the same height as, yeah, there we go. It still looks a little off, but we'll probably get there. Let's see. Bring it down just a little bit. Bring it down just a little bit. Bring it down just. There we go. There we go. Now that looks better. Now that looks better. So now here we are going to just test and see if the visualizations are interacting, and they are. If I erase everything, now I get the full funnel. Of course, if I select one make and model, it'll seem as if we have a bar, because, so 2013, 2016, 2018, 2019, all of that is working. Okay, interactions are working. Interactions are working. So now I want to try a tile for the, I want to try the tile visual for the make and model. And as you remember, in the final version, we had a tile visual of the make and model as opposed to using the drop down of the make and model, which allows us to just point and click on the make and model, as opposed to having to drag and find it in the list. So we are On the back side of completing our Power BI report here, as you can see, we have the tree map with the model, the make and model, and we have our column chart and our funnel chart. Now it's just a matter of formatting. I believe the real estate is about where it needs to be. When I say the real estate, I'm saying the different visualizations are in the proper locations, and we are now able to bring in our data and pretty much get ready to format. Only thing that's left here that I'm kind of working on is the card visuals here at the top of the page. So we've got our Turo image, Turo logo at the top of the page. Let's double check, make sure the filters are working, the different visuals are interacting with each other. So the drop down slicer of the year, and then we can select a card that has a year, a make and model that has a year associated with the particular drop down. We see that the visualizations are working together. We've got the model count. We've got the model count, the average monthly revenue, the average daily price, and the number of trips. They all are interacting with each other as we select different makes and models. The makes and models we're selecting are from 2020 or the 2025 make and models 369. We've got 11 make and models that are in the 2025 year. It appears that everything is working according to plan here as far as the interactions between the visualizations. The visualizations coming across the top of the page being the Turo logo, the year, which we selected the drop down of 2025, the model count, which is telling us we have different model counts for each one, for each year. We've got a model count of 6, 8 here for the Volkswagen. We removed the distinct model count, which would have been just that specific model. So basically, this is the total number of the model count we have here is the total number of models that we have of that particular make and model, or the total number of models that we have of that particular make. We've got percent of trips. Let's just double check the visualizations coming across the top of the page is the Turo logo, the year of the make and model, the model count, the average monthly revenue of that model count, the average daily price of that model count, and the percent of trips. And that percent of trips is simply the total of the total of all the trips. It's the percent of the total of all trips. Of course, 100% would be the percent for all models that are selected. So we don't have any selected, so it's 100%, but it'll show us here what the what the percent is based on selecting a model once we select a model or select a year. Just making sure our calculations are right. Of course, again, we don't necessarily do I don't necessarily go through the calculations and the DAX measures in these Power Money Mondays. We'll do that in class. But for the most part, we just want to make sure that the visualizations work, that the visualizations are good. If you get the visualizations are good, we can back into the measures that are used here. So as you see, we're selecting 2025. We're going through all of the different makes of the 2025. The model counts is 2, average monthly revenue is 32. If we select 2021, the model count is 23. We see the different model counts here, and we can 3, 4. We've got the Acura RDX model count is 1. Average monthly revenue is 979. Average monthly revenue. So where I want to be when I get in the game. I want to be somewhere in that $1,000 mark. So it's going to be a matter of finding which cars are in the average monthly revenue of $1,000. That's kind of where I want to be. There's a couple other factors that come into play, but for the most part, that's what I'm going to be basing it on, in addition to demand and daily price. But you know, again, you don't necessarily need to create your business off similar, off of the same mindset that I create mine. You have an idea of what you need. You may need a daily price. You may need your car on the road. You may need, you know, monthly revenue. I don't know, or a certain month revenue value. But you know, I'm not here to sell Turo. I'm here to sell you Power BI. So now what we're doing here is we are formatting the Turo logo. Well, we're formatting the Turo report background, and basically I'm just going through all of the different visualizations right now, and I'm just making all of the visualizations the same color, which is black at this point. The reason why I am using black, I don't necessarily like using black, but I will use black. I don't have a problem with black. But the reason why I'm using black here is that the Turo logo is black and white. So it's just a matter if I use the black Turo logo where the text is black and the arrow is black, or if I use the white Turo logo where the text is white and the arrow is white. Now coming back in, just changing all of the values to be white, because we can't see, or we're not able to see the values when the values are black and the background is black. We would need the title to be white as well. So that's what we're doing. And as you can tell, I like to go through, when I use a card, I like to use similar visualizations, such as the 4 cards we have here across the top. I like to make the different format changes in each one of the similar visualizations. First, I will go through, I'll make the background black, and then I'll come back and I'll make the title white for each one, and then I'll come back and I'll make the values white for each one. I just like to do them all at the same time, because when you are formatting a similar visual, you can just go directly to that particular visual and not have to make 2 or 3 clicks. You're already in the same location. If you don't understand that, we can talk about that in class. But at the end of the day, that's how I like to format my visualizations. Now on the drop-down slicer visualization for the year, now we're making the background black. We've made the title white background. Not necessarily sure why we're going to do that. We may change that color to be black. The background for the slicer, we're going to make that black, because the text of the background the text of the drop-down is going to be black. So we want that we want the background of the text to be white so that we can read that as well. It appears that all of the visualizations are have black backgrounds. Now we're coming through for the tree map background. We made that title, which is the make and model. We made that white. Here on the combo column line chart, we're making the X value, the X title, the Y title white. We're going to make the X title white. We're going to make the title of the visualization white as well. And the title, the general title, we're going to make that white. The text color white. It's black right now. We make that white, and we see that that is average monthly revenue and count of make and model by year. We're just going to call that monthly revenue by model. A lot easier title. Come down to the funnel chart. We're going to make the funnel chart title white. We're going to go to the visuals of the funnel chart. We're going to make the data labels values white. We are going to make the values. We're going to make the values that color font color is white. Dun, 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 dun. Category values, we're gonna make the category values color white. And let's see, do we have anything else? Category labels is white. Dun, 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 dun. Values is white. Options, values, that's white. Data labels, values is white. Background color, no background color. Colors of the bar, we'll change those colors here in a minute. But we've got all of the titles in each one of the visualizations white. We've got the data labels for each one of the visualizations white. We have removed the slicer header. And now we are making the background color black. Now, what I have an issue with here is that for the Turo logo, it kind of looks like it's like patchwork in there because it's not a transparent background. I didn't use a transparent background for the Turo logo. So that white background that's on the black and white logo is not a very good fit. What I also don't like here is on the year. The year doesn't have to have a white background. The year could have a black background and have white text. So those are two things that jump out at me here. So I will want to change the logo out and to reformat or edit the format for the drop-down slicer of the year. So as you can see here, my text is black, the background is white. So it's important, that's important. But if I select here, just want to double check, everything is still interacting with one another. The model count is interacting. And let's see here. Yeah, let's change this image to be the black image, because if we change it to be the black image, well, with the black background, now it doesn't look so much as patchwork. The only challenge here is that that black background that the logo is on is not a true black. So what we're gonna have to do, or what we can do, not necessarily have to do, but what we can do is try to see if we can match that color a little closer so that it blends better into our page background. Otherwise, it's not as bad as the white background was, but it still kind of looks like patchwork when we look at the black image. So what I want to do is come in, I want to format this, I want to change the color of that of the overall background, and now that looks like that blends in a little better than the original black that we were using. So what I want to do is I want to change the color, I want to change the background color of each of the one of the visuals so that they all blend in together and have the same color. It's not the exact color, but it gets us pretty close. So I'm going to change the drop down slicer for the year to be the same color as the page background. So as you can see, if you put them side by side, they look pretty close, but they're not exactly the same. But it looks a lot better than the true black that we are using in the current background of these visuals. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna format, we're gonna go in and we're gonna change that background color there as well. We're gonna change this background color here too. We haven't changed the background colors of our cards, so we can go to our cards and we're gonna change the background color of the cards. The reason why I did the column chart, the column line combo and then the funnel is because I can do those in one click, just as I'm clicking, doing with one click in the cards. It's going directly to where I want that color to be changed at, and I don't have to do 2 or 3 clicks and then get to where I want to go. Now you can see that visualization is a lot closer in color. That Turo background visualization is a lot closer in color than that true black that we were using. And it appears we've got some black text that kind of slipped by me since we had a black background in that column line chart combination. But let's come up to the background for the drop down slicer. And this looks pretty good now. I kind of like this. It looks a lot better. We format, we go to slicer heading and background for the slicer header. We are going, it's calling me. But it's a white text and the same black background that we're using everywhere else for the years. So that makes me feel a lot better there. So it doesn't look like it's patchwork either. Just double checking, making sure that the drop down slicers have the same combinations as, well, not combinations, but is interacting with the different visuals within the tree map. So we selected drop down year and we've got the make and models for that particular year and the monthly revenue model in the column line chart is interacting with the tree map. The count of make and model for the funnel chart is interacting as well. Now we're just gonna get some complementary colors here. If you're working with the company, if you're on a project, you would probably want to, well, you want to know which colors the company uses. They'll have a color chart that they use, that marketing uses. You would want to use their color chart. Given that I'm just creating this Power BI report, I'm using colors that I feel that are complementary to this particular report. And that's what I'm using, not necessarily worrying about the colors, because again, this is a project that I am actually going to be using to make my decision as to which cars that I'm going to be purchasing to put on the Turo platform. So this is really my report. And again, if you guys want access to this report, just go over. Well, actually, just follow the link below. The link is Power BI in a day, but we'll learn Power BI in a day. It's the only link below in this description, the only link below in the description. But just follow the link and register. Basically, what you're registering is to get information about Power of the BI, but it also, you'll have access to updates that I'll be using and as I build out this Turo report as well, and it could help you out on your platform or in your Turo business. And if you want to learn Power BI, you can, but if not, worst case scenario, one, you can use it to learn Power BI, and two, worst case scenario, you can just use it to make decisions based on the report. Now, again, this is not a report created for Turo. This is a report created for myself. So that pretty much is what that would look like. Looks like everything is interacting, so we are good there. So what I ended up doing was I did replace out a couple of visuals. I did keep the combo line chart, and I took out the funnel chart, and I went with the pie chart. And the pie chart is showing me the top 5 models by trips, and it is showing the column line chart is still showing me the number of trips and the average monthly revenue. So that I just changed the location. The column line chart was here, and the funnel chart was down here. I took the funnel chart out and I added the pie chart here. Again, the pie chart is going to show me the top 5 by trips. Now, another thing that I did was on the interactions, I removed the interaction between the top 5 models by trips and from the column line chart. But if I, that moved. I didn't want that to move. I don't know why that moved. Anyway, so I should have locked that in place. But I can also come up here into the year, and I can select by year, and now everything is interacting when I select the year of the make and model. Right, now we can see different deals. When I select make and model down at the bottom in the tree map, it's not going to change because I removed that interaction. But if I select, I can come down, I can take 2025, and now I can see what's going on in 2025. I can select 2024, and I can see how the make and models compared in 2024 by trip and average price and daily price and average monthly revenue and all of that. This is, again, what we were looking at in the very, very beginning, the final report. And also, I included, the original report only included Dallas Love Field. Now I've also added the information for Dallas DFW. So I have 200 model counts for Dallas DFW and 200 model counts for Dallas Love Field. Again, as I said before, I want to add Atlanta and a couple of other locations as well. I'm going to decide, what those locations are, or you can place in the description, in the comments here in this video, and just say, what city you'd like to see. And, I may go off of whoever says the most, vote-wise, whoever says the most, I will be creating, updating this report. But this report will be accessible to everyone. All you have to do is follow the link below and sign up for my email distribution. And I don't send emails every week. I send emails probably every 10 to 12 days, something like that. So you don't get bombarded with emails. But at the end of the day, what you do get is access to this report. So if you're on the email distribution, whether you are a Turo host or if you are just trying to, but if you are a class member and you just want to see this report and compare it to the report that you're creating in class, you can have access to comparing the report that you create as well. In addition to, if you're not a class member, if you're not a Turo host, but you're just following these videos, this will give you access to this report as well. And you will be able to use this report and other reports, not just this report. You have access to the other reports as well. But you also get the update as to when I update this report immediately, so you don't have to wait and keep coming back to see if it's updated. But anyway, so that is all we have here on this particular report. Thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.